In this video, it's the fearsomely fast Subaru Impreza. No, the cow's right, there's no turbo. So yeah, here we have the Subaru Impreza, not even a turbo. Although if you remember my exploits of a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago even, I went to the Netherlands in one of these with a turbo, and it was noisy and it was horrible, and I was very sad and didn't enjoy it. It was a great car to drive really quickly for about 5 seconds, but anything longer than that was absolutely horrible. This is a Japanese spec. It is an import here in New Zealand. It's a fairly early Impreza, I think. I would suggest probably mid-90s, maybe 96 at the latest. And no, I haven't checked the sticker in the window that actually tells you what age it is. 1997, I was close. And you can see it was imported in October 2009. So yeah, it is an imported model. I'd say it's roughly equivalent to what we had in the UK as the Subaru Impreza Sport. But it is actually an HK-20S. Or HX-20S. It's lost a bit of graphic there, I think. Oh yeah, there we go, look, HX-20S. And it must be said, it's a bit sportier than the UK Sport. The UK Sport was just a bog standard Impreza with a body kit on it. On this, we've got a rear wiper, something we just didn't see on the saloons in the UK at all. And generally the vibe is very much more of a performance orientated car. There are deep buckets. I don't think the Felix the Cats are original. It does that beeping noise all the time. The keys aren't all that happy to come out, so I'm just going to leave the keys there. So yeah, we've got Felix the Cat there on what looks shape wise very similar to WRX buckets. Oh, what a noise. But yeah, Subaru Impreza, one of the most dynamic, most what's the word I'm looking for? One of the cars that had the biggest impact in the 1990s. The World Rally Championship, the turbo models did very well there and were very iconic, even if they didn't win all the rallies. They did win the championship a few years, but they weren't the most successful rally car ever, but possibly the best sounding because of the flat 4 boxer engine at the front here. Subaru ploughed its own furrow, really. It was one of the first Japanese companies to go for front wheel drive, and then it was one of the first companies to start offering 4-wheel drive in a normal car. Something they were doing from the 1970s, and models like the FF I think was front wheel drive, but then there was the Leone, or however you meant to say it, that was the saloon. It was just sold as the 1.8 DL or GL in the UK. No one in the UK knew how to pronounce it either. And yeah, various sporty versions of turbocharged and not turbocharged nature. I think at its heart the Impreza is rather an ugly car. If you see one without the spoilers, they are a bit grim. These rear lights look like swollen bottom lips. It's all a bit rotund and peculiar. But I think with the adoption of a body kit, it becomes a very stylish car. This one has, for some reason, a red wiper rubber. I'm not sure why. What does it have here? Akoroa. That's somewhere that's very nice to visit in New Zealand, I believe. And I wonder what this sticker is all about. Do you know? Maybe you do. But yeah, it's owned by a volunteer firefighter, so it's used to being thrashed mercilessly. Megan has owned it for 9 years now, I think. You can see the big fart cannon on the back, which is unusual on the non-turbos. It doesn't generally sound very nice. Does this one? We shall find out. Beep! Shut up with your beeping. We should go and have a look under the bonnet, I think, and see how much of this flat 4 engine we can see. There we go. Not an awful lot. It's had a cam belt at some point and water pump at 230,000 kilometers. But yeah, as you can see, you can't see an awful lot. Not a turbo, those are just the inlet manifolds, and that's the boxer engine. So the boxer engine is very low because all the weight's low down, and very short. So from here backwards, it's pretty much gearbox, and that's why Subaru persevered with this. Whether it's the right decision, I don't know, but I like Subarus because of the engine, so I think that's probably not a bad thing to do. We'll go and have a nose in the boot if we can. Should be quite easy to find the beep. Pull release for that because Japanese. And there we go. It's quite a big old boot. Bit of space lost for having a wiper motor, but yeah, we've got plenty of space for chucking stuff in the back. And I think the saloon probably makes more sense than the sport wagon, to be honest. Sport wagon is a bit compromised by the rear suspension struts that come up either side. Right, we're going to quickly jump aboard and have a look inside. Quick! Oh! And we'll just turn the Nardi steering wheel. That's a lovely, lovely item. So it's pointing the right way. Look at that. That's a really nice wheel, and it feels really nice in the hand. A bit of leather around it. See, we're up to 256,000 kilometers now. So that cam belt is getting on for 20,000 kms, which isn't too bad. A speedometer, no, that's a tachometer, that goes all the way up to 8. The speedometer goes up to 180 kmh, and kmh is the unit of measurement in Japan, and it's the unit of measurement here, so that's all very convenient. It's not what you'd call an exciting or stylish dashboard. There is air conditioning, which currently doesn't work. There is a modern JVC CD player, and there is a glove box which contains tablets. I like the fact they've labelled them as tablets because otherwise I wouldn't recognise them, so that's good. And of course, if we can put up with the noise for a moment, there are frameless doors. So I'll put the ignition on, which should make the noise stop, and doesn't. Look at that, the beauty of frameless doors. That's better, and now it's all quiet. And now we can just look in through the window, maybe it's a better angle even. Nice stubby little gear lever, falls nicely to the hand, nice precise action on it. We've got indicators on the right hand, and that was true of them in the UK at this age as well. Controls for front and rear wipers, of course, unusual on a saloon. But generally, yeah, you sit nice and low. It feels a nice size. The car feels snug around you. So that's all the good. Let's move into the rear here. And again, no frame. Unfortunately, the rear doors, or the rear windows, can't retract fully into the door because of the wheel arch cutout. So they just sort of look like they've fallen down. I'm going to jump in and see how comfortable it is in here. The news isn't brilliant. With this seat set for me, it's all a bit tight, to be honest, because, you know, there are drive systems going to the rear axle, so there's quite a chunky transmission tunnel down here, and the seat can't go too far back because there's gubbins, I imagine. We've got the most pointless head restraints in the world, and yeah, that's not great either. So you wouldn't want to spend too much time in the back of an Impreza, but you can do. It's more comfortable here than it is in the back of an MGB GT or a Ferrari Berlinetta Boxer, which doesn't even have a rear seat. So there you go. The rear wiper doesn't work. I was so looking forward to operating that wiper. Come on, little wiper. Denied. All right, we're gonna have to be quick because time is running out. It's getting dark here. Put the lights on. Can hear it growling away. And I've just realised I can't get out here because I came up here for artistic reasons. So this road test is going to start in reverse. Ditch there. Right, now we should be good. Let's see if the front wipers wash. Yes, good overlap. Typical Impreza issue, the blade doesn't come right up to the pillar. But is there a mist function? Oh yes, the pull is for the mist function. There you go. And that's 100 kms. We got there not ridiculously briskly, but so we haven't got that stupendous kick in the back of the turbo models, but nor can I call that sluggish. It feels nicely brisk. But it's in the bends, these cars are just so good. And being four-wheel drive, it means you can just plant your foot down mid-bend. You haven't got to worry about traction in the wet, for instance. You just put your foot down and it accelerates. I wouldn't say it's peaceful. Old New Zealand roads seem loud, so there's a fair bit of road noise, but there's a fair bit of wind noise as well, because those frameless doors, the seals dry up in time and don't seal quite as well as they could. But it hasn't got the booming resonance of the fart cannon I had on the Subaru Impreza Turbo I drove to the Netherlands. So it's ultimately a lot more pleasant. It makes nice noises, but it's not overbearing, whereas that car really was. There is air conditioning that doesn't work, so I've just got the vents flowing air at the moment. But yeah, it is all a bit noisy. So if you're after refinement and comfort, I can't necessarily recommend a leggy Impreza. I don't remember the turbo being as bad for wind noise, so it might just be that the seals are a bit tired on this one. Feels so appropriate to rev match in this car. I don't really know why. So I think these 2 litres are about 120 brake horse maybe. The suspension is definitely on the firm side, but it's not crashy, it's not unpleasant. In some ways the ride is better. I think it's more composed and better damped than the Nissan Maxima, also owned by this couple. But you can definitely jam your foot down in third and enjoy the experience more than you can in a turbo, because a turbo gets up to legal speeds in just no time at all. Oh, I'm unleashing my full boy racer. You do need a bit of an exhaust on these. The UK Sport, I owned one myself and crashed it after 2 days. It just sounds a bit, well, it sounds like a slightly unhealthy Ford Sierra, if I'm honest. This has definitely got that grrr, that growl of the rally spec cars. Oh, look at those mountains. Let's do a brake test. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that pulls you down very nicely. Phone almost came out the mount, I think. And back to sensible speeds. I found a gravel road. I think I just need to do an acceleration test here. drive is good because you can just do that. You just get that traction of all the wheels being driven. There are no locking diffs, no clever electronics. It's just shared drive. There's so many places for the power to go, but you can just go where you like. Yeah, the turbos don't like doing this so much. We're doing 1500 revs uphill. Ooh, hair. Hares like to just run ahead of you. They don't really understand going off at the side ever so much. That's really annoying. I'm just going to turn around here and go back that way. So that was the Subaru Impreza JDM-spec non-turbo yo. Yeah, a very enjoyable car, I think. And in some ways, I do like it more than the turbo. It just makes a little bit more sense on public roads. Give me a forest stage and no speed limit, and I would go turbo every time, I imagine. But yeah, it's cheeky fun. I think the sport models are definitely well worth a look. So I should say, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. Don't forget to go to the HubNut store to buy t-shirts. You can't buy this t-shirt, but there are other t-shirts and that's okay. And beanie hats, etc. And I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.